When Photoshop CS5 came out, the content aware fill feature got a lot of buzz because, well, it's a really cool feature. You'll find it generally in the fill dialog box, which you can find under the edit menu. And you'll also find it when you're using the spot healing brush. You'll see there's a content aware option up here. But there's another content aware kind of feature that's in Photoshop. It was actually around before Photoshop CS5. It's called content aware scale. I wanted to show you one of the ways that you could use something like this, and not only really show you one of the ways to use it, but kind of some of the pitfalls and how to work around some of those pitfalls when it comes to using it. Okay, so here's a scenario. I'm going to go up here to image and go to image size, and let's take a look at here. We have basically an 8 by 12. Okay, let's say we want to print, edge to edge, we want to print on a 13 by 19. Okay, that's the size paper that we're using. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and we're going to create a brand new document, and let's change this to inches. We go 19 by 13. I'll leave it at 72 ppi and click OK. So now I have a blank document. So let's take this photo and let's drag it in here. So theoretically, and it's way too big, so let's just come in here and free transform. Again, I'd normally be doing this at a higher print resolution and all that, but just as a demonstration purpose, 13 by 19 at 72 pixels per inch is pretty much the same thing at 13 by 19 at 240. All right, so theoretically, if I want to fit this photo into my 13 by 19, I'm either going to have to crop something out, or I'm going to end up with something that's a little bit more like what you see here. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to get this little area in. I could always bring my crop area down. I could lose some of the top. The point here is I'm going to lose something, right? I'm either going to crop it out or I'm going to lose something. So I'm going to actually, we're going to even make this a little bit worse just for demonstration purposes, because I want to show you how this tool works. So let's say this is what I have. All right, I want to print a 13 by 19. I want it to be full bleed. All right, but this is basically what's taking up the image. That's where this content aware scale feature comes in. All right, you're going to find it if you go over here and you go down to the edit menu, you'll see content aware scale. So what it lets us do is when I click on it, I can basically start to enlarge the photo. And what it's going to do is it's going to look for areas. If you look up here, it's kind of stretching things. It looks like it's trying to keep the snow border intact. It's not stretching that. It's trying to stretch some of the things that it thinks don't matter in the photo, which is kind of cool. It does start to make the clouds look like they go off at an angle and whatnot. So it's not quite there, but it is still pretty cool. If you look at what it really is doing here, look at the snow border. I mean, I'm not doing anything to this. Photoshop is kind of already picking out that, hey, the snow border must be some important detail. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to start to scale some other areas. And again, those areas happen to be the clouds in this example. All right, so I'm going to hit the escape key. Let's go back because we can help Photoshop along. What we'd want to do here is we take our lasso tool and we make a selection. We make a selection of what we think is the most important part of the photo. So in this example here, I could make a selection of the snow border. And then what I'd go over here and do is I'd create a channel and then I'd fill that selection with white. So now Photoshop has this area that it's going to protect. So let's go back and we'll come back here to content aware scale. And the only thing you have to change here is under protect. You see it says alpha 1. Alpha 1 is that channel we just created here. So I can protect alpha 1 and now I'm a little bit more assured that it's going to protect that snow border. In fact, it's done a worse job. It's protected the snow border, but you can see now our clouds are starting to kind of go off in wavy angles. So that's kind of one of the little tricks about this tool, is that you got to kind of be careful about what you're going to protect, because things like that just happen sometimes right out of the gate, which I think we got pretty lucky with this photo where it was stretching it, and it was stretching it pretty good. Sometimes right out of the gate it'll do that, sometimes it won't. So now let's go ahead and kind of look through here and start to decide, what don't we care too much about? Well, I care about the rock with the snow and everything. I care about the snow border, and I probably even care about these clouds because there's a texture and a pattern to them that could get kind of interrupted if we mess with it too much. So let's go ahead and take our lasso tool, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a selection of this area here. Let's create another channel, fill that selection with white, come back over here, just click on that RGB composite channel, and let's go to edit, content aware scale, change this to alpha 1 again, because remember, this is what we're going to protect. And so take a look at what's happening here. See that? All right, let me hit the escape key. I'm going to go back to content aware scale. Okay, watch, look at the sky. Oh, sorry, you got to, every time you go in there, and that's one of the little nuances of the tool, you got to make sure you choose that alpha channel. So when I come in here, see what it's doing? It's stretching out the snow, which I can't tell, and it's stretching out the trees on the bottom, which I can tell because I know the original photo. I'm not crazy about it because I do know the original photo and I know that those trees weren't so stretched like that. But you can see the idea here is look at what we protected. All right, we protected the sky and we protected the rocks and everything over here. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's delete this alpha channel and let's try one more. So we'll make a selection. And I'll see what happens. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but I'll see what happens. We'll make a selection of everything over here. So somewhere over here, it's going to have to stretch something. Again, so a lot of this is trial and error to figure out what exactly it's going to work with. But let's click on that RGB. Let's go back up here to content aware scale, change it to alpha 1. All right, so now you can see, now it's stretching everything down here. So the point of all this is that it's a finicky tool, but it can be very useful, okay? I want to get this photo to 13 by 19 so that I can fill the frame with it and I don't have to crop anything out of it. As you start to learn how the tool works a little bit more, then you'll start to realize, what would be best here. Maybe we protect, let's try this one out. Again, I haven't tried it out ahead of time, so we're gonna be going along with me on this one. Maybe we leave a little bit of that sky. Let's create another one here, fill that one with white. So now it's alpha 2. So let's just remember that when we come back into content aware scale, we go back down to alpha 2 instead of alpha 1. All right. And you can see it's tilting that area up there. So you have to play around with it a little bit. To me, probably the best one was where we stretched the trees down here at the bottom, where I just kind of protected the snowboarder, I protected the rock and the snow that's coming off the rock, and the entire sky that was up here. To me, that was probably one of the better ones. All right, I'll try it one more time. Fill that with white, come back, edit content aware scale. This one's going to be alpha 3 because I didn't delete the other two. All right. And to me, that's probably going to be the best one out of all the ones that we tried. And heck, you could even probably go in here and do some creative cloning to maybe cut some of those down so they don't look so tall and so stretched. But again, not having seen the first photo, nobody may ever even notice that. Okay, it's just because we're sitting here and we're looking at the original photo, but it's left everything else pretty good, especially up here and especially over by the rock. So give it a try. It's one of those things. If you've got something you want it to fit into a certain space, this is the tool that you go to. Okay, this is the tool that you can use to make something that might be too small, something that you'd normally have to crop out or try to go in here and clone and repeat this guy or whatnot. It's a good tool to use to go in there and to add that area that wasn't already inside of the photo.